January 10th, 2025. This is my first video of the new year, and I wanted to update you on a few things that have happened this week that I've helped my clients with that I thought other people need to know as well. So I'm going to cover adding dependents, passwords on National Archive files, and your toxic exposures. Okay? So, first of all, adding dependents. If you have tried to add a dependent recently, like within the last 8 to 10 months, you may have noticed it takes a lot longer than it used to. It used to be something pretty automatic, and for whatever reason, the system is taking a while. So I got the pleasure of helping one of my clients, or telling one of my clients on Monday that his dependents were finally added, which is so exciting. Side note, when I help a client with a claim that is going to take them above 20%, so most claims, so if you have like a 10% tinnitus rating, it doesn't matter if you're married with 3 kids or you're single, like the pay is the same. 20% pay is the same. When you get to 30% or higher for a disability rating, you get paid on your dependent, like depending on how many dependents you have. So if you're married, if you have a few kids, all of that makes a difference in the amount of pay that you get. So anytime I'm helping a client that hasn't yet gotten to 30% or higher, when I submit their claim, I also submit to add their dependents, because I know that when that claim is successful, they're going to want their back pay to reflect all of their dependent pay as well, right? So that's just something to keep in mind as you're doing a claim, to also do also add your dependents at the same time, because it takes a while and because it makes a difference to your bottom line. It makes a difference to the amount that you're paid. So also, I just recently had a new client. We're discussing claims that I'm going to help him with. And then he mentioned, hey, I have a child that just turned 18, but they are still in school. And VA sent me the paperwork to make sure that I could verify their school attendance so that they could continue to be on my award. And I did all the paperwork, but nothing has happened. So I looked in the system, and usually, in fact, every time except for this time, if there's a dependency claim pending, it shows as a claim because you've put it in as a claim to add a dependent or to continue a dependent. And so that stays as a claim. Well, in this person's case, it did not. I didn't see any evidence that they had submitted anything for dependents. So I called VA today and asked them if they could see it. And it turns out they saw that the claim was submitted, and then for whatever reason, the claim was just closed. There was no decision made. There was no, the child was not added back to the award, nothing. So the VA employee that I was speaking to was able then to put in a request to the regional office to have someone look at it and get it taken care of manually. So I'm just telling you that because this is the first time I've encountered it, but it's clearly a glitch in the system, and that person, had I not called and drawn their attention to it, he would have just assumed that this claim was in process when in actuality it wasn't. So, good advertisement for calling to check on your claims. If you don't have a claims agent or a lawyer who's looking out for you, then that's something you can call the 1-800 number, 1-800-827-1000, and ask them the status of your claims. That's always a good idea to stay on top of things. Okay, so that's the first thing, update on dependents. The second is a lesson I learned the hard way. I've done videos on requesting your records from National Archives, and I've done videos celebrating when I have found records for clients at National Archives that were extremely hard to find, and we actually were able to find medical evidence, which was really exciting. I will link those videos later. But I learned that when National Archives sends you a document, they send it password protected. And well, they should, because it a lot of the time has a lot of your personal information on it. Well, that password expires in 30 days. That part I did not know. So I knew that you had to download the file within 30 days. They tell you that in the email, but they don't tell you that the password also expires in 30 days. So what they're expecting that you do is when you download the file, you somehow remove the password protection. I would consider myself to be a pretty savvy person, but I did not know how to do that. I've since learned because now I have to know. But yeah, that was a real awkward conversation because I called National Archive. I had this person's records. I was going to do their claim, and for whatever reason, the password wasn't working. So I called National Archive and I said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but here's the situation. And they said, oh yeah, the password expires in 30 days. And I said, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And they said, oh, you have to re-request the records all over again. Not okay. So thankfully, in this case, I had shared the records with the veteran, and in doing so, somehow or another, the password protection went away on their end. So we still were able to find and figure out how to access the records without needing to re-request them. But lesson learned, and I wanted to make sure everybody else knows too, when you get something password protected from the government, period, make sure you remove that password protection because it may or may not expire. So, okay, there you go. And the last is toxic exposures. I have spent today filing claims on behalf of a few of my clients, and on those claim forms, there is you can check the box for, are you filing, is this a result of a toxic exposure? And I would recommend, if you had a toxic exposure, check that box and list those toxic exposures in there's a box for other, and you can list other toxic exposures, because often your toxic exposure risk assessment, the TARA that a lot of people talk about, that doesn't always reflect all of your toxic exposures. So if you are assuming that, hey, no, I was deployed, I was here, I was there, so that's all going to be listed appropriately, that's not always the case. So I would recommend that you always put in all the things that you were exposed to in your claim. Okay. All right. Well, I hope y'all are having a great start to your new year. I have really enjoyed having a little bit of a break, but it also highlighted for me how much I enjoy doing this work. And it's been really wonderful to get back to it this week. And I just really enjoy answering questions and helping all of my fellow veterans with everything that I learned. So if you have any questions, pop them in the comments. I'll be sure to come back later and link those videos that I referenced. And I hope y'all have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.